Sleep is such an important aspect of our lives, yet very little is known about its function in mammals, and yet even less is known about its function in insects. There are, however, many similarities between insect and mammalian sleep patterns. For example,
the fruit fly Drosophila chooses a particular place and position to sleep and are unresponsive to the environment.
So maybe neurons and neural processes are universal across all species. Maybe the differences in sleep patterns lie in the wiring of the animal rather than the form of neurons.
But would sleep patterns in social insects be different than sleep patterns in mammals?
That's a good question. Social ants like the fire ant Solenopsis invicta exist in polygyne colonies. Polygyne, a colony with more than one queen. They need to be able to quickly switch back and forth from individual to group tasks based on need. And since they live underground, they aren't exposed to photoperiods, day and night, like we are.
So what you're saying is, ant activity depends on how much work that needs to get done, rather than the time of day.
Precisely! Ant activity is probably polyphasic and asynchronous.
To study our little ant friends, we traveled to the Brazo Valley, Texas, USA. There, we found a healthy fire ant colony consisting of 3 queens, 30 workers, and 30 larvae. They were taken back to our lab and kept in an artificial nest chamber. The 3 queens were observed to find frequency, duration, synchrony, position, and location on their active and inactive periods. All this information was put through a computerized event recorder, and a chi-square test was done on the inactivity and activity configurations.
We found that activity and inactivity was indicated by antenna, head, and body movements.
The antenna consists of the funicula and the scape. During the active periods, the queen's antennae were extended so that the scape and funicula were low in front of the eyes. During sleep episodes, the queen's antennae were extended so that the funicula and scape were above the eyes. They also experienced REM.
The 3 queens' sleep and activity episodes are synchronized based on physical proximity.
While sleeping, the queens huddled together with overlapping body parts. The increased activity of one queen was transmitted through contact with other queens, kind of like a cue ball hitting billiard balls.
So what about the worker ants?
Actually, when we looked at the worker ants, we found that duration of sleep varied on location rather than the time of day.
They slept longer on the chamber wall and ceiling than on the chamber floor, probably because they were less disturbed there.
About 20% of them are sleeping at any given time of day, but on average, more of them are sleeping in the afternoon than at night.
We found this by putting 20 of the workers in clear tubes with damp sand. We measured their excavation rates at different times and under different light conditions throughout the day.
Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean?
Well, Austin, fire ants, much like the fruit flies in mammals, choose a sleep location and posture before going to bed. Similarly, the workers and queens' deep sleep is characterized by unresponsiveness and random antennal movement, or RAM, as the humans or mammals' deep sleep is characterized by random eye movement, or REM.
The queen's sleep episodes were polyphasic and synchronous.
Well, the worker sleep episodes were polyphasic and asynchronous.
Yeah. Well, the queen slept for 9 hours at 6-minute intervals.
Well, the worker slept for 5 hours at 1-minute intervals.
From the queen's perspective, the workers are disposable, hypervigilant sentinels that tend to her every need, thus increasing her longevity. The workers' constant hyperactivity also increases the queen's reproductive success.
All this suggests that those who sleep less die young, and those who sleep more live long and prosper.
Long live the queen!
And
Power naps are effective for increased hyperactivity and productivity. Sleep, 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 sleep. Maybe the differences in sleep patterns lie in the wiring of animals rather than the form of sleep patterns. I know. Okay, stop it. Maybe you need to back up.
okay.
And since they live underground, they aren't exposed to photoperiods.
Keep going.
Whoa.
Such an instrument is the turboencabulator.
We looked at the worker ants. We found that duration of sleep varied on location rather than the time of day. Was I in that? Are based on physical proximity. The 3 queens sleep and proximity. about.
Live long and prosper. I could do that. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Those who sleep less die young.
And hyperactivity is power naps are effective for hyperactivity and productivity.
Ding.
Hyperactivity is power naps are effective for those who have hyperactivity. Power naps are effective for increased hyperactivity and productivity.
I don't believe in science. When it comes to the spy game, to me, it's all instinct.